Yapping.
Hello, this is Erika,
Edgar.
And Paulina.
and we are the Yapping Snousers. We entertain you with yap-worthy stories we found around the web. So we actually have a special guest today, my older sister Paulina. So she's a wife, a mother of two boys, and a puppy schnauzer, and two fish. She also loves singing.
And she's also the co-owner of Marlboro Candle Co. and Artisanal Candle Company.
And I just have to say, they smell really good, especially the Fruit Loops.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me today.
And I hope you enjoy the stories that it's gonna be about a wedding and all the drama that comes with it. So the first story is, am I the asshole for skipping my brother's wedding because his fiancé excluded my wife from the guest list? My brother James is getting married next month, and what should have been a joyous family event has turned into a nightmare. The issue? His fiancée Emily didn't invite my wife, Lisa, to the wedding. Emily and Lisa have never been close, but I wouldn't call them enemies either. However, Emily was always seemed to be a little bit cold towards Lisa. The tipping point was last year during a family vacation. Lisa, who's naturally outgoing and bubbly, struck up conversation with everyone, including strangers at the resort. Emily, who's quieter and more reserved, seemed annoyed by this. After the trip, she told James that Lisa was attention-seeking and accused her of making the vacation all about herself. I didn't think much of it at the time, chalking it up to personality differences. Fast forward to now, and Emily has made it clear she doesn't want Lisa at her wedding. When I confronted James about it, he admitted it was Emily's decision, and he said he didn't want to push back because it's her day. He added that I should respect Emily's wishes and come to the wedding alone for the sake of family harmony. I was stunned. Lisa and I have been married for years. For 5 years. She's part of this family. Excluding her feels like a slap in the face, not just to her, but for me as well. When I told James I wouldn't attend without Lisa, he accused me of being dramatic and trying to punish him for something out of his control. He said I was letting Lisa's hurt feelings ruin his wedding day. Our parents are divided. My dad says I'm right to stand with my wife and that James and Emily are being unreasonable. My mom, on the other hand, thinks I should keep the peace and attend the wedding because it's not worth destroying your relationship with your brother over one day. Lisa has been deeply hurt by the whole ordeal. She feels disrespected and excluded and told me she would never have done something like this if the roles were reversed. She's trying to be supportive of whatever decision I make, but I can tell she's devastated if I went to the wedding without her. It's put a strain in our marriage because she feels like I'm not standing up for her enough. At the same time, James is my only sibling, and I've always thought we were close. I know skipping his wedding would hurt him, and it could permanently damage our relationship. Part of me wonders if I should just swallow my pride and go for his sake, but the other part of me feels like this isn't about one day, it's about standing up for what's right. I don't want to ruin my brother's wedding, but I also don't want to betray my wife or compromise my values. So, am I the asshole for refusing to go to my brother's wedding without Lisa? So what do you guys think?
I don't think he's the asshole. I feel like he is standing up for his wife. I know that it's one event and it is very important for his brother to be there, but there's a wife in between, and I think once you have a family, you have to stand up for your family. It's a very difficult decision to make because family is family, but once you step out of the house and you have a family of your own, you have to stand right next to your family, and that is your wife, your kids, and eventually there will be a time where both of the siblings can have a talk and discuss about this, and just there are other events. Let's hope that they will be invited and it will be a family that's together. But for now, I feel like he can have a separate conversation with the brother and just let them know how difficult it is, the posture that he has put him in for not inviting the wife, and have that difficult conversation ahead of time. So when the wedding comes, then they know why he wasn't there.
Yeah, so like you should just have a conversation with him and sit down and say, okay, this is why I don't want to, and I'm not going to your wedding. So it could help, at least a little bit of a resentment. Because I feel regardless if he does go or he doesn't, his brother's going to be have huge resentment for him not going.
I feel like them disinviting like the OP's wife is just like basically uninviting him as well. Like either the brother or the brother's wife doesn't like value like that part of the family enough to invite both of them and like not put them in that situation.
I mean, OP thinks that they're close, so he doesn't understand why he's, I guess it's not him causing this. It's the wife. It's his sister-in-law that's causing all this drama.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he could talk to his wife and, his fiance, almost soon to be wife, say, hey, if you disinvite her, you're disinviting my brother, and I want him to be there. Like, it's just one of those things. Maybe he could talk to her, but he probably doesn't want to because he said it's her wedding day. And whatever she says goes.
I would just say, like, give the brother one last warning. Say, no, if you don't invite her, then you can not expect me to come as well. Yeah. And that's, like, the best I can do. Because, like, it's, like, also unreasonable to, like, someone to throw the, like, morals away for, like, one day.
Yeah, that's hard. It's like, literally his wife. Like, that's his life now, too. Like, you can't just be like, oh, I'm just going to go with my brother and leave her behind.
Yeah.
So the top comment is, not the asshole. Turn it around on him and ask how he would feel if the roles were reversed. How would his fiancée feel if the roles were reversed? The fiancée is joining the family, and she should bear that in mind. His wife is already in that family. You can't choose who your family is, least of all who your siblings marry, but you can't tolerate them. It's the fiancé who's causing the rift, not you. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think I get her wedding, her rules, whatever, but I mean, come on. Like,
I also think that when you're getting married is a decision of two people, not just one. And if it's not only her wedding, it's also his wedding. And so both of them have to, I feel like this is not going, it's the beginning of this marriage is not going well. So I think both of them had to become in an agreement in everything, not just the wedding, because afterwards it's going to get even harder. So if they don't get along or in the same page with the wedding, I don't know how it's going to be with the rest of their life together.
Yeah.
Wait, Paulina, in your wedding, did you have to make any compromises with Hector?
We had to make compromises for how many people were invited.
Really? Like, how so?
Because we were in a tight budget. And so with a tight budget, it's compromising how many people can you invite. So we together decided on how many people, which was 40 people. And so the venue we actually got it at a good price, which was amazing. But we both wrote down a list of the people that we wanted to invite. And it was majority was family, because family to me and my husband is everything. So, and there were a couple friends that we know that were very close, and that's how we ended up just having 40 people in our wedding.
That must have been hard, especially, at least our family is what, 12, almost 20 people?
Yeah, more than 20.
Yeah, more than half, yeah.
Yeah, it was more than half. So we really, we really had to, just think about the people that we both know and we appreciate, and that we felt that they were very important in our lives. So those are the people we decided to invite.
Wow, that's really hard. But yeah, your wedding was beautiful.
Thank you.
I remember Chelsea, and her speech was hilarious.
Chelsea had a speech?
Yeah, how old was she? She must have been 8 or something.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was about, so she said, because she said she grabbed the mic because they were saying if they want to give them some advice to the new couple,
Chelsea
newlyweds. And so Chelsea's advice was, I support you if you want to do this. And that was the advice. She supported me. She was there.
Isn't she cute?
She's wise beyond her years.
She was only, what, 8 or less?
Yeah.
She was so cute.
But there, I invited my sister and she was there and she supported me.
Exactly. So yeah, I think it really is just compromising. I think any relationship needs to be compromised. Decisions need to be compromised within two couples to make it work.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, final verdict on this story?
Yeah, he's not the asshole.
Right.
Yeah, definitely agree about that. For the next story, it's titled, Am I the Asshole to Let My Sister Wear White to My Wedding and Kicking Her Out when she showed up in it? I, 27 female, got married 2 weeks ago, and it was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. My sister, 31 female, who I have a complicated relationship with, decided to test me in the worst way possible. We've never been close. She's always tried to one-up me, even during family events. It's exhausting, but I figured she'd at least behave at my wedding. Months ago, when I sent out the dress code, I made it very clear. No one wears white but me. It wasn't negotiable. My sister gave me attitude about it, saying I was being insecure and that no one cares about tradition anymore. I told her that whether or not she agreed, she needed to respect it. The morning of the wedding, she showed up wearing a floor-length lace white dress. It was practically a bridal gown. My heart dropped, and I straight up asked her what the hell she was thinking. And she said, "It's not that white, and besides, no one will care." I told her that if she didn't change, she wasn't welcomed. She threw a tantrum about how I was ruining her day and stormed off, telling everyone I was being bridezilla. Some family members told me to let it slide because she's just like that, but I was done. So I told the staff not to let her back in unless she changed. She never came back, and now she's telling everyone I ruined the relationship for good. My parents are mad, saying I should have just ignored her because it's only a dress, but I feel like this was a deliberate choice to sabotage my day. My husband agrees with me, but some family is still pissed. So, am I the asshole?
This makes me have rage. Oh, man.
It's like just overly petty for no reason. Like it's just like it's like one simple rule, and that's the only rule that I imagine that was like had about the wedding, and the sister broke it.
Yeah. What do you think, Paulina?
Well, when I'm invited to a wedding, I am not wearing white because I let the bride be the one that shines. That's her day. And so I'm being very conscientious when I get invited to weddings, and I will not wear white because I feel that's not my wedding. And so I feel that she was disrespected by her sister, and it's too bad that they couldn't, that relationship was already broken, and that that her sister didn't even respect her decision, and it was her big day. So I definitely think that she is not the asshole for having a dress code in her wedding.
Exactly. I think it's just terrible how she decided to use this one thing, like her wedding day, to one-up her, I guess, or destroy it or ruin it for her. I think she just waited for this moment to ruin her wedding. Honestly, I don't think obviously they don't have a good relationship, but I think she's just taken it too far. I think after this, I don't think the relationship is going to be any closer, probably further apart. And I don't blame her either. I mean, why do you want a sibling like that? If like a stranger or your friend wouldn't do that to you, how about your family? Like, it's crazy to me. Yeah, she's just very disrespectful and completely ignored what, was asked for her. One thing.
Yeah, I can't believe like some of the family like are on the sister side on this.
Oh my God, I would kick them out too. Get out!
All of them just stoned.
It's ridiculous. Come on. You didn't have her go to your wedding wearing white. Let's see how much you like it. Hello. Go into my shoes and see how you feel. I hate when people do that. Like, just keep the peace. That's how she is. Yeah, that's too bad, but she's not coming in. I would done the same thing she did. Kick her out and don't let anybody have her come in anymore.
Yeah, and also like the parents they were mad saying that she should ignore her because it's only a dress. I am sorry, but the parents should have done a better way.
Raising them?
Raising them and addressing this separately. Like, if I was a parent, I'd be like, let's go. We need to talk. And even if she's a grown-up person, I'll just take her aside and make her change or go away.
Yeah, it's simple. No, regardless how old you are, you need to respect each other. You need to have a good relationship. So the top comment is, not the asshole. Your sister disrespected you. Clear dress instructions and showed up in a white gown, almost identical to a wedding dress. She was trying to steal your spotlight at your wedding. You were right to uphold your boundaries and not let her ruin your day. Ignore the family members who say you should have let it slide. This was your special day. She didn't care. Exactly. And then OP actually responded to this. She had every chance to wear literally anything else, but chose that dress on purpose. Letting it slide would have given her permission to pull stunts like this at every major event. Some people need to learn the hard way that actions have consequences. So yeah, agree 100%. She was definitely not in the wrong. The sister was definitely the asshole. And the parents and those family members that said, just let it slide. No.
You know. And like, what was the sister expecting? Like, for her to come into like the party like that? Like,
I don't get it.
Yeah, like, I would never do that to you. Let's say you're getting married. How in the world I'm going to be wearing white, knowing that you're the bride?
That's crazy.
Like, even though we might have our arguments and we not be on the same page, that's your day, your special day.
Yeah, I don't care how crappy of like relationship you have with your sibling. Like, come on. Why are you trying to ruin the wedding? Yeah.
So, final verdict on that?
Not the asshole.
Yeah, OP's not the asshole.
She should have done it more.
She would have been more mad.
She should have embarrassed her in front of everybody. Just kidding. No, that's too much. It's too vengeful. But, just kicked her out was suffice. That's how I feel, at least, right? All right. So the next story this one's a little bit long. So it says, am I the asshole for uninviting my fiance's work wife from our wedding? 29 female, supposed to be marrying the love of my life, 31 male, in a few months. We've been planning this wedding for over a year, and it's been beautiful but stressful experience. But there's one person casting a shadow over everything, and that's my fiance's work wife, Lily, 30 female. Let me backtrack a little. My fiance and Lily have been friends and co-workers for around 5 years. At first, I was honestly relieved he had good friends at work, especially since his job can be demanding and a bit isolating. I tried to be a cool, understanding partner who wasn't bothered by how close they were. But over time, their bond became something I just don't know how to handle. Lily is a huge part of his life. They text constantly, often late into the night, about everything from work issues to little jokes. She knows things about him that sometimes I don't. And it stings me to realize how much he turns to her for advice and laughs instead of me. My fiance reassures me that they're just friends, that she's his work wife, and that it's no big deal. But it feels like she's gotten so close that I'm sometimes the one on the outside looking in. As we got deeper into the wedding planning, Lily started chiming in with her opinions. She has suggestions about our venue. It doesn't feel like him. Our flowers. He's never liked bright colors, remember? And even my wedding dress, mentioning offhandedly that she knew his style better and could help me pick something he'd love. I tried to laugh it off, but it hurts more than I wanted to admit. Here I am planning my wedding, and I felt like I had to measure up to her view of my fiancé. Last week, our engagement party, and it was supposed to be such a happy day, but I kept noticing Lily glued to his side. I tried to join the conversation, but every time she'd bring up a work story or inside joke that left me feeling like the third wheel on my own engagement. Then, in one worst moment, I walked up to her saying, if you change your mind, you could always marry me instead. My heart sank. I didn't know if she was joking or half serious, but my fiancé laughed, brushing it off like it was no big deal. I couldn't just let it go. I pulled my fiancé aside later that night and told him how inappropriate her comment was. He looked at me surprised, like I was taking it too seriously, and that Lily was just playing around. I felt like I was going crazy, like maybe I was seeing something that wasn't there. But how would anyone be okay hearing that from someone so close to their fiancé? The last straw came toward the end of the night. Lily had a few drinks and she came up to me, asking if I was really okay with how close they were. She said something like, I mean, I can't imagine him with anyone else. It felt like a knife to my chest. I wanted to scream, but instead I just walked away. Later, I told my fiancé I didn't want her at our wedding and that it was too painful to have someone there who clearly saw herself as part of our relationship. He got defensive, saying I was overreacting and letting jealousy ruin our friendship he cherishes. He even implied that uninviting her would damage his reputation at work. And now he's barely talking to me because he says I'm making him choose between his best friend and his fiancé. I don't know what to think anymore. I feel hurt, small, and like my feelings don't matter. My friends support me, but his friends think I'm overreacting and letting insecurity ruin our relationship. Am I blowing this up, or am I in the right for some respect and boundaries? Am I the asshole for asking him to uninvite her from our wedding after everything that's happened?
What
That
do you guys
one's
think?
hard.
I think the coworker, the fiance's work wife, it made the very inappropriate like comments about like, oh, you can like marry me if like this doesn't work out. Like that's something she shouldn't say.
If he wasn't sure, yeah.
Especially like not in front of like the the wife.
Well, she came up. She wasn't there. She came up and she heard that comment.
Oh, I
So
see.
they were talking behind her back about this. Like that's even worse.
Yeah,
How-
that's even worse actually. That might be because that means like she's like very confident when like it probably is like kind of a little bit two faced too, you know? Like maybe in front of the wife she's like oh nice and like seems like a friend, but maybe when they're like not together, like which is why she's the work wife, she's like
Yeah.
probably doing a little bit more.
I honestly think he's an idiot. Because if he's planning on marrying this woman, and if this woman tells him, I don't feel comfortable with that, then you respect her decisions and say, okay. Why? Because he's planning to spend the rest of his life with this person. I'm sorry. Wives come first over best friends. And even if you were best friends, if you're planning on spending the rest of your life with this woman, and she tells you she feels uncomfortable or she's hurt by something she said, then do what she's saying, because her feelings matter. Like what is going on? Why is he marrying her? What do you think, Paulina?
Oh, I feel like there's a lot of things wrong here. First of all, I don't like the term work wife. Hate
Yes.
it. I don't like it because I call it something else. If she's your secretary, she's your
Coworker.
Whatever it is that, but
Best
don't
friend.
call her a work wife because you're mixing two things here. You are mixing your friendship and you're mixing your work, kind of. So having a work wife, it means can you handle it yourself, or do you need someone to be there? I think he's very codependent of this person, of Lily, and it's not making decisions on his own. And then second of all, if you're gonna get married, you have to plan this with your fiance, not having what does your work wife has to do anything with your wedding. This is your wedding. She's not working in your wedding unless she's the wedding planner.
Exactly. Why was she a part of all those planning? I don't understand that. She's not even her friend, like her best friend, maid of honor, or sibling. Why is she there? Just because she's best friends with the husband? Like, no, you're uninvited. I would have not had her nowhere near my planning on the wedding or anything, because she is nothing. She is nothing in this relationship. I think she allowed this to happen, so she thinks she has the right to say certain things. So because she didn't set that boundary, she now thinks she's able to do a lot more things and be part of their relationship. I think she should have said something in the beginning.
Oh, and I think the soon-to-be husband should have draw the line between work wife and fiance. If he allowed the work wife to step in to places that she wasn't even supposed to be, and then he's saying, that Lily's taking it too seriously, and who in the world would be texting him in the middle of the night jokes and work stuff? No.
That's not okay.
You got to draw a line between work and within your regular life. So he's allowed her to just, there's no boundaries. He has not stepped in and said, no, this is my wife and this is my time. Please don't interrupt me during these hours and blah, blah, blah. But he's allowing her to be part of his life. And to the fact that she is saying, the work wife is saying that, making those comments, I feel like there's not even just a work wife, but I feel that there's other feelings involved.
Yes. And now that you say that, the top comment actually says, not the asshole, but to be honest, it sounds like two of them are having an emotional affair. Exactly. And I feel like that's worse than just having an affair. Just affair, like, cheating on someone, whatever. I feel like emotional affair, it just ties, it's like you're tangled together way more than just sleeping with someone. Her comments are completely inappropriate, and your fiance's willingness to side with her and choose her over you is hugely concerning. I can absolutely predict on the day of the wedding she's going to try to insert herself into everything. It sounds like there's a level of jealousy here, and based on what she did at your engagement party, this is going to escalate on the day you get married. And then you can likely look forward to the future of her inserting yourself into your relationship. The home you buy, your children, and your husband's going to keep allowing this to happen. You need to ask yourself if you can live with this throuple. Yeah. I think the husband is... he should marry her. He should marry her.
I was just thinking that. I'm like, really? Instead of becoming just a work wife, she can become the whole wife.
The real wife. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I guess at that point.
Yeah.
I think especially like when you get the label like work wife, work husband, like that implies like everyone else in the office sees something like more in that relationship.
Well, I've seen people have like work wife and but like...
But when you see those like kind of people like that kind of like dynamic in work, do you think they're just friends, or you think they're more?
Yeah, well, at least for the people that I've seen, I don't think there's anything more than that. But it just depends. Like obviously, the woman also has to have boundaries, and the guy too. And if you see like they have a good relationship or whatever, that's fine. But like there has to be a boundary, and there's no boundaries in that relationship, then that's where the line is kind of blurred, and that's where the danger comes in.
Yeah, because like a lot of people, like work is like their only life, like also their only social lives. So it's like pretty hard for like people to like kind of separate that. That's so true. I kind of like emphasize with him saying, "Oh, we shouldn't like disinvite her because like then it's gonna make my work more miserable or like more awkward." But also like I don't think like work's that important at the end of the day. Like he can always get another one and not be in that situation in the first place, and now like get himself into another situation in another workplace.
Yeah, I mean, I think
he kind of like, I think the decision for him to uninvite the work wife would probably be like down to like how he wants that to affect his like workplace.
Yeah, that's true. He did say that if she was not to get invited, it will be affecting his work life.
Like, could it cause him to be fired? Or cause him to like lose any partnerships within his work? Like, it's something else to consider as well.
I feel like he also give her a certain authority over things at work. Like it seems like has some type of authority, and that he's feeling worried about what's gonna happen at work. Again, we're going back to boundaries. What kind of power does she have that it can influence his work? And
that's a scary thought too.
That is, because he is not just thinking about his wife, but is thinking about his work. And so, what kind of power she has.
Yeah, I think it's important to really like think that through, or maybe he should explain to her a little bit more, like the wife or the fiance, soon to be wife, explain to her, this is happening, this is what, the dynamic is. and that's why I can't invite her. Like, it's just the communication as well. If he was to talk to her about the relationship, not just like completely shut her out, because she said here that he doesn't want to talk to her anymore. He's ignoring her, and basically just the concerns that she had or whatever. He doesn't care.
Yes, that's like a pretty bad red flag for me on that behavior, because then I think it just like kind of solidifies like the OP's fears about like what could be going on.
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, like we all like the work stuff, but he could also have just been saying that just to like guilt her.
Yeah, I mean, like, how would you react if I said I had a work husband?
I wouldn't like it.
He should have said he wouldn't like it. I like your honesty, babe. Well, I don't have a work husband, so you're okay.
I mean, it's like I feel like it's not a good idea to have like anyone that close at work.
Right.
Yeah, because they could literally use your weakness against you since they know so much about you. I don't know. It's just really hard.
I work in a field that's very, a lot of people say it's a lonely chair. I work in human resources too. So it is a lonely chair. And you have to be very, very careful with the relationships you form around the company, around wherever you work. So you can feel lonely sometimes because everything you say, it's probably going to be against you. So you got to be really, really careful. So I get it. But to the fact that he is telling her, telling Lily that just, this is too much. You shouldn't feel this way. And I feel like you're crazy. There's nothing there. That's not okay. If he needs to have something like that's happening at work where he's feeling afraid or feeling concerned or what's going to happen, with not having not inviting the other work wife to the wedding, then he needs to be, I think he needs to
transparent. Yeah.
Yeah, he needs to speak up to her, and he needs to let her know what's really going on. And even if it's a hard conversation to have, then it's better to have it before the wedding.
Yeah, so that before, if she decides she can deal with this, like I think OP needs to really sit down and think it through. Like, can she live the rest of her life living like this and being in a throuple, where somebody commented, like being in a relationship of 3, because it looks like she's not going anywhere. So she really needs to, before she gets married and tied down with that guy, she really needs to reflect if she wants to live like that. All right. And then what's our verdict?
Yeah, final thoughts.
I don't think she's the asshole, but I think he is. And the work wife are both assholes.
Yeah, I think at first I thought that OP was a little bit of an asshole, trying to like cause a wedge in like his workplace, basically. But the more I thought about it, I think OP isn't in the wrong. Like, she's like in the right, and in saying that she wants to uninvite the work wife.
Yeah, I think her comments were inappropriate, saying, "Oh, if you change your mind, I always have." That's just weird. That's like crossing the line there.
Yeah.
If she didn't say that, I would be like, all right, maybe they have a good relationship and, they mixed it, like they have a close relationship. But then when she said that, I was like, no.
Yeah, it's like totally inappropriate.
There's definitely something else going on there.
Okay, the next story is titled, "Am I the asshole who walking out of my mom's wedding after what she said during the ceremony? This has been eating at me all week, so I need some outside perspective. I'm 20 and I have a really complicated relationship with my mom. She's 45. She's always been the type of person who knows exactly how to push your buttons. She'll say the most hurtful things at the worst possible time, but then play it off like she was just being honest or joking. It's been like that my whole life. Anyways, she got remarried last weekend. Her first marriage was to my dad, and they had me pretty young. My dad isn't really in my life much. He moved out of my state when I was 10, and while we talk occasionally, it's still a really sore spot for me. My mom knows this. She's always known this. Fast forward to the wedding. She asked me to be her maid of honor, and I agreed because, despite everything, I wanted her to be supportive. The ceremony was beautiful, and I was standing right next to her, holding her bouquet. Then, out of nowhere, she leans over and whispers to me, "Isn't it sad your dad didn't even bother to come?" Guess we both know where you rank on his priority list. I was stunned. It felt like someone punched me in the stomach. I didn't say anything because what could I even say? I just stood there holding her flower, trying not to cry in front of 100 people. As soon as the ceremony ended, I handed the bouquet back to her, walked straight out of the venue, and left. I didn't even go to the reception. I just couldn't. Now my phone is blowing up. My mom is furious, calling me selfish and saying I embarrassed her in front of her new husband and his family. And she says I ruined her big day over something so small and that I should have just ignored it. A few relatives have sided with her, saying I should have sucked it up for a wedding and talked to her later. But to me, it wasn't small. It felt like she deliberately chose that moment to hurt me, and I don't think I could have just stood there pretending. I could have just stood there pretending everything was fine. Am I the asshole for walking out? Should I have stayed and dealt with it later?
Yeah, I don't think OP was the asshole. I think the mom really is. Wow.
Yeah.
Like, that was uncalled for.
It's like especially cruel. Like you don't say that to someone, and like I don't know why she would say that. Besides thinking like, oh, she likes to like harm people. Like she likes to make people uncomfortable or like sad.
Oh, saying that she was joking or she was being honest. Like how she said that she likes to say that I was just being honest or joking.
But that's like a cover to like what she actually wants to feel, which is like she likes seeing people be uncomfortable or like seeing people be miserable. Yeah,
that's terrible. I mean, like, who hurt you, sir? I mean, ma'am, who hurt you that you want to hurt everybody else? I feel like people that people are like this are hurt inside, so they want to hurt everybody around them.
Or they could just be bad people.
I feel, well, why does somebody become bad?
Some people are born bad.
No, I don't think that. I don't think everybody's born bad. I feel like they become that way because of there comes a nature and nurture, really. It's difficult. No, I don't think nobody comes in this world evil. I don't think so. I think the experiences, the way they grow up, the way they're treated, everything takes into play on who you become. And at some point, really, I mean, you choose to be a certain person. And then if obviously you're hurting inside, you want to hurt everybody else. Because you don't want to see anybody else happy because you're not happy. So I feel like, it's just one of those things where I feel bad for people this way. But yeah, I don't think it's right. Especially, why do you want to hurt your daughter? She's being there for you on your wedding day. And you just want to basically a slap in the face with those words. And I don't blame her for walking out. I would go low contact with her. I mean, why do you want to have a relationship that is so toxic? And regardless if she's your mom or not.
So yeah, you personally would have left if she said that to you? Like your mom said that to you?
I would have left. And those people that are saying, oh, you should have just, sucked it up. No. Then you shouldn't be part of my life either if you think that.
Yeah. I think I would have personally stayed just to be supportive and just dealt with it. Because
she don't deserve it.
I am.
Yeah, but no, she don't deserve. I give people if they give me something, I give them that something back. If she's giving me all this crap, I'm not gonna give her anything. I just gonna go. She doesn't deserve anything from me.
How about you, Paulina?
I think words have power. And I feel like she's got to the point where I don't know what happened to dad or whatever the situation was, but as a parent, because I'm a mom, I know what can I pour out, why I'm pouring out to my kids. I don't know what the mom has been pouring out to her about the dad, that she's hurt. I don't know what exactly happened. Even might be the truth or not. But as parents, we have to stay neutral, especially for the sake of the good of our kids. So I don't know what she's done to her daughter that she's hurt. She knows that this is something that it's very touchy for her. Yeah. So, and for the mom to just say, your dad wasn't here. First of all, why will the dad come to her wedding?
I don't get that.
Some people do that.
Yeah, I get. But first of all, I wouldn't invite him to my wedding unless I want him to see how happy I am.
It's like, hey, look at me.
Look at the new guy.
Yeah, exactly. So I would have stayed and I would have ignored her comment. yes, it would have bothered me. Not much, just not hurt me, but it would bother me because I'm like, first of all, I wouldn't think she would invite my dad. Why in the world would invite she? But depending on her personality, and then second of all, I'd be like, I'll definitely mention this back to her. But again, I would just let it. I will let it slide because it will not affect me because of why would in my mind I'd be like, why would you invite my dad? Like it's other. I feel like the other story will be if it was my wedding and my dad wasn't there.
Yeah, that'd be
then
different.
I would be like really saddened if she would have made a comment like that. I'd be like devastated. But in her wedding, I'd be like, I don't care. It's your wedding.
But I think it's normal I think it's more Americanos that they do that.
I know they do.
I think that's crazy. I mean, I don't know. I think...
No?
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like there's a lot more stories of, like, like American families that, like, well, I haven't talked to my sister in, like, a decade or two because, like, we had an argument. Like, I feel like that's, like, maybe not normal, but I hear more about it from that demographic.
Yeah, like, they could just stop talking to people and then invite them to a wedding. Like...
Yeah, I'm like, no.
That's weird. I don't know.
Like, I have to talk to my sisters and, like, my mom and dad, like, every day or every other day.
Yeah, I mean, same. I feel like we're very close knit. Like, I could not imagine not talking to my sisters a day. Like,
I know.
We always be sending videos to each other and stuff like that. Like, I don't get it. I mean, we are blessed to have that. I think we're really lucky to have a relationship like that because I know a lot of people that's definitely not the case.
Yeah, and because I feel like our culture will be like, I don't care if my dad is not here. It's not his business. But like Ed was saying, maybe it's just the demographics and she probably is hurt because that is there. But I personally wouldn't take it seriously. And I'd be like, whatever. It's your wedding. If you don't want him to come, it's not I don't want. Probably if she wanted to see the dad, maybe. Yeah. But it's like, it's an
I think she feels hurt by that too.
Yeah, maybe that that he didn't come, but it's like it's not her wedding. If it was a wedding, like again, I'd be like really, really sad. But I would just ignore my mind for the rest of the wedding.
I would just leave. I don't like that. I don't know. I think I'm the type to just like isolate myself when I feel a certain way. But yeah, I don't think she is the asshole at all. I think that's for my verdict. It's hilarious.
You ready?
Okay, so the top comment is, why would your father show up at your ex's wife wedding? She sounds like a bitter old cow.
R.I.P.
I'm sure he avoids her like the plague.
Well, that's what I was saying. I'm like, what was she showed up to her wedding?
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I think he's just really hurt because he had a chance to see her and he declined and did not. And he's already like not part of her life as much as she wanted him to. So I feel like he did another thing that he wasn't there for her. You know what I mean? So I think that's what her mom wanted to. It wanted to cause her pain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is cruel, honestly. Yeah. She's really the asshole. And
I can't wait for the update for the divorce.
Oh.
The second divorce.
Oh, yeah. And then she's going to remarry again. All right. So.
Any final verdict on the story?
Yeah. The final verdict, she is not the asshole, but the mother is and the father for not being there for her.
Agree.
I'm indifferent to the father.
Huh?
I'm indifferent to the father.
I mean, like, if he would have been part of her life, she wouldn't be feeling this way.
But,
if you decide to have a child and you decide to say, I'm going to be this father, then why are you making your children feel this way? Be a father.
They're young children. Remember when they first got it, so they're probably not thinking about that.
Still, you should be responsible, regardless how young you are. Okay, so the next story is, am I the asshole for refusing to follow rules of my sister's wedding? My sister, female 18, will marry her husband, male 22, next weekend. She sent me an invitation to be the bridesmaid back in October, and I said yes before asking her what the rules for the wedding would be. Flash forward to Christmas Day, few weeks before the wedding, at my parents' house, and I asked my sister what my children would be wearing and what their roles would be. She acts shocked and says, what are you talking about? Your kids won't be at the wedding. Who wants wedding with the kids? I was extremely upset she said it this way in front of my children and was very confused. I wasn't personally told that kids couldn't come, just assumed they could. Am I in the wrong for assuming this? Anyways, there's a bit of argument, and then my sister says, why the hell would I invite messy kids to a beautiful wedding? I don't need them there for one day. My kids were still in the room during this, and my 12-year-old started crying, which led my 4-year-old John crying. I said to my sisters, could have organized something for my kids or let them know what the plan is. You're so unprepared for the wedding. You're a kid. She left my parents' house with her fiancé, and then me, my husband, and the kids left too. I messaged her a couple days later simply saying, either you let my kids come to the wedding or you sent back my bridesmaid dress. I'm sick of your childish behavior. Am I the asshole?
Yeah, I think so. It's like definitely a preference thing. Like whether you want kids.
Wait,
in
you
the
think
wedding or-
OP's the asshole?
Yeah, I think OP's the asshole. I think the OP's sister handled it not well. Like, but it's like basically her terms for the wedding. Because like think about the kids too. It adds like a lot more cost to the wedding as well. And maybe she does have a point that like in some cases like the kids would kind of like hinder like the solemnness and like the beauty of a wedding.
Okay, how about this? How about we are invited to a wedding of your family, but then your family says, but you can't bring your child.
Then I don't bring it.
You'll be okay with it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it's really depends on the wife. But like I feel like this should have been announced. Like make sure that everybody knows this beforehand before they decide to be part of the wedding. I don't think OP knew anything about this and was shocked that her kids were not going to be a part of it or were not able to go into the wedding.
Yeah. And now she's demanding that the kids be invited.
Yeah, so now that's what makes her the asshole. Because honestly, if the wedding and the soon to be bride doesn't want the kids to be there, I think you need to respect it.
Yeah.
Either you can find a babysitter for a couple hours or just be there for the ceremony and then leave. I mean, you could do whatever you like, but I think at the end of the day, if the bride to be wants no kids, then you have to respect it. What do you think, Paulina?
I agree. I feel like she should have sent when she invited her to be the bridesmaid and back in October. She should have said something. She should have said something about not having kids in her wedding. And you know what? It's a preference thing. I get it. It's the cost involved and other things involved too with children. But if you don't say those things ahead of time, especially with family, you should have said something. And especially knowing that as a parent, you always have to plan. Where are you going to leave your kids? For how long? Who's going to be taking care of your kids? So you should be considering of all those things, first of all. And the other thing is also say those things in front of the kids.
Yeah, that's
just terrible because kids always think that there's something wrong with them.
Yeah, that's
and now they know.
There's something wrong. It's like the kids always feel that it's their fault for something that if something didn't work out or they were not invited, they're gonna say because of me, mommy. It's like the kids are already having
that's sad.
A bunch of thoughts in their heads that it's because of them that mommy can go to the wedding, and that's not okay. If I respect her wishes of not having children, but if it's family, I feel that you should have ahead of time let them know that there will be no children allowed, and that's okay.
I think they're both assholes. Honestly,
yeah, definitely, yeah.
I think she should have said a different. Said it not in front of the kids, and then the sister for just trying to like make it happen, like trying to force her to have the kids there.
I know. Yeah, OP's sister. Yeah, could have said like, "Oh, let's go in another room when they first." And then,
we could discuss this later, or
they could have done anything else instead of like blowing up in front of like OP's entire family.
Yeah, that's that was uncalled for.
Because definitely that Chavio like is like traumatized.
He is. They were crying. Jane was crying. Yeah. There is a little edit that says my sister always has been close with my kids. They play constantly, and she comes over every week at least. Her acting that way, speaking to my kids like that, made my kids not want to see her anymore. Janet, 12 females, stayed in the room when my sister came over. They usually talk nonstop. If my sister didn't act this way towards my kids, I absolutely would have paid for childcare for her wedding. But her acting like that with my kids made me decide against it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
I think, OP definitely has, like, a level head after the situation. Like, during the situation, she was, like, very upset. But, like, afterwards, like, yeah, I think she came around to, like, a more sensible conclusion.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think, it's very unfortunate about the sister being, like, so hostile to, like, the kids, like, in front of them.
Yeah, I don't understand that, especially she was close with them. So the top comment is, you all sound like a bunch of messy drama queens. If your sister wants a child-free wedding, guess what? She gets a child-free wedding. It's absolutely not your decision to make. A child-free wedding are incredibly common. Why wouldn't you ask ahead of time? It's also not her job to organize your childcare on her wedding day. That's an insane thing to ask. But the girl needs to learn how to communicate. Maybe she could try not to insulting your kids in front of them while saying they weren't invited. But then your ultimatum at the end, good Lord, you all suck. I think that's an awesome comment. Honestly, yes. They're both drama queens and they all are the assholes. Yeah. I think it could have been handled better. It didn't have to escalate this much.
I agree. They're two adults, and they should have solved this in a better way than this.
Yeah, I agree. So this is the final story and the last one.
Yes.
The final verdict was?
Oh, for the last story, the final verdict, I would say both of them are the asshole.
Yeah.
I agree.
Terrible.
So yeah, the last story is titled, Am I the asshole for refusing to give my brother my mom's wedding ring? My brother and I are the only siblings in my family, so when my mother was terminal with her cancer, she sat us both down to give us each some jewelry that meant something to her. I got her a wedding ring that once belonged to her mother, my grandmother. I was to pass it down to my daughter, and my brother got a necklace to be passed down to his daughter. Years later, my brother asked if we could trade the pieces so he could give it to his soon-to-be fiancé. I said no. Mom would want me to hold on to it for when my daughter gets married. After going back and forth with him, he made the choice to stop communicating with me. He's getting married and did not invite me to his wedding. When I tried to call him, his fiancé told me that it would be best not to call anymore and that my brother was really hurt. Am I the asshole? And yeah, clearly not. It's like,
oh my God.
Just get your own wedding ring. Like,
like, did he not want to spend money on the wedding ring? Like,
clearly.
This is two other drama queens.
Except one of them is a guy.
Exactly. Why? Oh my gosh. He should be wearing the wedding ring.
Why? I feel like people are so sensitive. Sensitive these days. You know, it's
you say no, and it's like world. Oh no, it's like don't talk to me.
Yeah, I'm like no, that's something that's not yours.
Were you entitled? What? Like, hello, your mother gave you a necklace and gave her a ring. Why can't you just keep it that way? Why do you want the ring?
Exactly.
Just hello, like I don't understand.
Respect her wishes.
Exactly. Why is he's being very selfish. I think he's just trying to guilt her, and then to the point not inviting her to the wedding.
Yeah, that's just too much.
Oh my gosh, that's way too much. I think he's just going overboard for something.
Really?
Yeah, that's not okay. The top comment is, he is the one who is being hurtful. Honoring a loved one's wishes can sometimes put us in a difficult position. You're between a rock and a hard place here, and your brother could have stepped up and tried to understand. He's being selfish and petty. He had his future wife do the communicating because he knows he's wrong. I will respect the boundary and now contact him. Yeah, and even to even tell her that, and the wife make his wife say that. Oh my God, he is. Oh.
No, just
the audacity in that man.
Yeah, he's wrong.
It's terrible. It makes me angry. I would be like, all right, fine, don't talk to me then.
But I'm not giving you the ring.
Exactly. You could keep your necklace and I keep my ring. That's crazy to me. But yeah, I think he's definitely an asshole, right?
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so that is the last wedding story. I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you, Paulina, for joining us today. I hope you liked the stories, and hopefully it didn't make you too mad.
Thank you.
She's twitching.
It was fun.
She folded her arms in the front. She was ready to fight.
Oh, and the work wife.
Yeah, she didn't like that one. It triggered her a little bit.
She was ready to smack the screen.
But yes, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you join us next week. Bye.